Hello and welcome to Raising Mommy, a podcast sanctuary where moms can come to listen, share, learn, and grow. I am your host, Kimberly Tyson, vegan blogger for eatplantsforlife.com, wife and mom of two. Here in the studio today, I am joined by Anna New of Harry Norman Realtors, which covers the greater Atlanta area in providing services in buying and or selling your home. She is also a mother of 3 girls, all middle school age. God bless her. I met Anna when our kids were both in elementary school, and well, she actually has twins. And right. I have an 8th grader, and your twins are in 8th grade.
And then our youngest are the same age.
Yes, and they're in 6th grade, and they're both still in Girl Scouts. So I think your twins decided not to do it.
They dropped out. Yeah, they dropped out. They went through 6th grade, and then they dropped out after that.
Yeah, mine dropped out in 7th grade. And it was because I basically told her she had to take over the reins and do the work.
Right.
And keep up with emails and sell the cookies and not have me behind her back.
Selling the cookies.
Yeah. And she was like, well, I think I'm done.
Not so much. Right.
So thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So between us, with your twins and my oldest, we have 3 girls headed to high school. Are you ready?
I'm kind of ready. I've been, dreading this day, but all of a sudden I looked at one of my twins in the car. We were going to school early for a study session. I was like, geez, you're starting to look like a high schooler. And I felt like that in 5th grade when they were leaving elementary. I was dreading them leaving elementary, and then all of a sudden I looked and I was like, dang, you're too big for the school. Everybody else is so much smaller. So I'm getting kind of excited about it. I feel like they're so much more prepared for high school. Middle school's done a good job with for them to keep up with their own assignments.
Yes. The agenda is great. The blogs, absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to do first is dive into a segment that I like to call Real Chat.
Okay.
The name says it all. Real Chat is a judgment-free discussion where not only moms share candid experiences and views on a particular subject, but professionals provide an expert description of, advice on, and resources for the Real Chat topic of the day. So today's topic is stay-at-home moms head back to work.
Yes. Okay. So my story is going to work, coming home, going to work. So I, when I was pregnant with the twins, I was on bed rest for 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty harsh, but my company was wonderful. They allowed me to work from home. They gave me special assignments, and that really filled my days.
Okay.
And then I had the twins and went back to work after 3 months and really struggled with the decision because I didn't feel like I was in the right place. I was really pulled so hard at home. When I was at work, my mind was on them, and I felt guilty. And I felt guilty because they had done so much for me to get me through this pregnancy, and I was ready to leave. But ultimately, I did leave. I struggled with, well, if I step out of the workforce, how am I going to get back in? Is anybody going to take me? Just all these normal questions.
Absolutely.
And I decided to go back in a year. And when a year came around, I was pregnant again. So I did not go back. And I was at home, full time with 3 children. And then when the twins went to kindergarten, I found some time on my hands, so started this little catering business that you're familiar with. And that grew and grew, and I never intended to take it all the way through. Like it was just kind of a stopgap to keep me busy and doing something. And so for the past couple of years, I was like, real estate would be good because it's got the flexibility, and you're kind of in control of your own destiny. You can make it as big as you want, or you could keep it a certain size. And so when my youngest went to middle school, I realized this is the time to do it. She can let herself in the door. Everybody can get their own snack. Nobody needs me there the minute that they walk in the door. And So that's kind of my transition, but always flexibility has been key for me.
I think for me it was the same way. You know, I never planned on staying at home, but my story is I had my first child and I was on my leave and I was going to take the whole 3 months. So I went to check out daycare centers. I really wanted my mom to watch her. It would have been no problem. I would have gone back to work. But I ended up taking her to a daycare chain that's in Metro Atlanta. I won't mention the name. And I remember walking in hearing babies cry, like newborns crying. Yeah. And the smell of urine throughout the building. And I thought, it was an expensive daycare.
Right.
And I struggled. I said, I can't do it. I couldn't even stay for the entire visit. I said, I can't leave her here.
Yeah.
So I looked at my husband. He looked at me and I said, you know, I'm just going to, because the plan was for me to have them back to back anyway.
Right.
And, you know, the more expensive schools, it wouldn't have been worth me going back to work anyway because they were way too expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was like, what do you want to do? He gave me the choice. And, you know, I said, you know, I really want your support and me staying at home with them, and he was always on board with that.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm glad. I know a lot of moms don't have that option, so I do feel blessed about that. So yeah, that's my story. I walked in and walked right back out, and I was home with them until my youngest started middle school, and got right back into it.
That's the time when you have the full day.
You have the full day, and it's amazing. I've been with them this whole time, but it's amazing how independent they become once you give them that responsibility.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They rise to the occasion.
They do. Well, listen to this statistic. In a 2015-2016 report, a professor of sociology at UNC Chapel Hill performed a study in which over 3,000 fake resumes were sent to real job listings in all 50 states. You want to know how many callbacks?
How many?
Okay. So working mothers received 15.3% callbacks or follow-up calls.
Okay.
9.7% received callbacks, the unemployed or laid off moms, the ones that are recently unemployed. Less than 5%, 4.9% of stay-at-home moms re-entering the workforce got a call back.
Right.
So that's tough because you're competing with a lot of people.
You're competing with a lot of people, and it's up to you. You've got to find your own opportunity.
Yes.
And you got to pave your own way. So it does remind me, I don't know if you've seen that show Younger.
Yes, I love that show.
It's so good.
Yes.
In her 40s, and she has to pretend like she's 26 to get a job.
That's not coming back on, is it?
It is. Season 6 is coming out soon.
I
just binged on 5 seasons in like a span of 2 weeks.
I love that show.
So good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they actually went back to the employer and asked why they don't usually call the stay-at-home moms back, and this is how they responded. They viewed stay-at-home moms as less reliable. I can kind of understand that. Mm-hmm. Less deserving, less committed to work, and this is they were doing this to teach people to not sit behind a computer to look for a job. They said that the key is networking. So that was the whole point of the article. Getting to know people, finding out what's out there, and not just sending off resumes blindly.
Right.
But that's tough. It's tough to get back into it.
It is tough.
And depending on how long you're...
And you've kind of lost a lot of your network when you sat out. However, I do think the opportunities are out there. I think that there's a lot of talent sitting on the sidelines, and that when their kids are a little bit older, they're ready to go back and can give 100%. I know one of my reasons for wanting to really start a career and build it is that I feel like the kids are almost gone. Mm-hmm. I've got 4 years left with the twins, or maybe 4.5.
Right.
And my youngest will be gone right behind them, and I'm going to have a lot of empty days. And I want to make sure I have something in place for me so that I've got a life
after. Yeah, and you don't have to be trying to figure out what they're doing because you don't have anything to do. Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
I think that's key, yes. So according to Refinery29.com, it was an article called How Millennials Do Stay-at-Home Motherhood. 29% of mothers now stay at home with their children compared to 23% in 1999. And that
Wow.
surprised me because
It
I
does
thought
me
it would
too.
be the opposite.
But aren't millennials the generation that they're creating their own jobs, that they're not necessarily going to companies to work in an office? They are creating their own
That's
thing.
exactly what the article spoke to. Staying at home, doing your own thing. A lot of them are starting podcasts,
Yes.
blogs, and they're managing their own lives and not necessarily working outside the home, but still generating income.
Exactly.
Which I thought was amazing.
Right.
So
there's so much to be said for social media and everything that's available for this group, and it's like falling out of bed for them. For me, it's not. But
so what was your reasoning for while the girls were at home that you started your own business, your catering business?
Time on my hands. Like, I'm a worker. I like to work. I like to be busy. I like to make money. And so that was the easiest thing for me to do.
I think for me, I started Eat Plants for Life at home because I wanted to keep my skills up. And I actually learned a lot of new things. Before, I couldn't build a website, managing a website and marketing the website.
Right.
So I needed a creative outlet. I didn't want to just be Madison and Grace's mom, so to speak.
Yeah.
I wanted to still be who I was, and it helped me do that. So,
and I think your kids take a little pride in it. Like,
do
this is
too.
what, and I got a new client this week, and my kids were so encouraging and so happy for me. I'm like, they can share in these little successes,
right?
And so I think it's good. I think they take some pride in that.
Yeah, and they can see you getting it all done, also. So, besides them coming home and being independent, how are they helping out at home?
Doing what they're supposed to do. They're not exactly making dinner or doing laundry,
right?
But they are being independent and responsible. So,
well, that's good.
All I want is for them to take care of themselves. Like, clean up your room, do your homework, stay on top of your stuff, and if you can do that for you, then that's enough help.
Exactly.
So
come in the house, lock the door.
And I'm not in an office from 8 to 5 o'clock. I'm in and out of the home. So in and out of my home, excuse me. So
you have a lot of flexibility. That's good.
I do.
I had a lot of mom friends who were teachers before they decided to stay at home. So it was easy for them to go back because we always need teachers.
Exactly.
But then they also have the flexibility. They have their summers off. They have all vacations. So that's a good profession to consider,
great
too.
Profession. And in fact, one of my good friends in Nashville, she was never a teacher before, but she her kids go to a private school, and I guess for private school you're allowed to hire somebody that's not necessarily have a teaching degree, and she is
more flexible.
Loving it. She's just loving the whole academia world.
Okay.
And again, getting out of your house.
Yes. Connecting with the people outside the home. Yeah, I can totally agree with that. So when you first told the girls that you were starting your career, your new career, how were they
were
reacting?
excited.
Yeah.
They were very excited. So
mine were too. My husband was excited also. Did you see any changes for him in routine now that you're a little busier?
No, and that is the fortunate thing. The flexibility, I think, in my job, he values as well. He just wants to make sure he doesn't come home to a stressful house where I'm stressed out and unhappy or lashing out at everybody.
Everybody's yelling.
He does not want that. So, and unfortunately, this is a slow ramp up with what I'm doing. So, and the flexibility. So he hasn't been impacted. Possibly this spring he's going to have to take on a little bit more on the weekends, but I think he's fine with that, like, because he's not at work. So
it's good too, because in my situation my husband has had to do a lot more, and he actually likes it. It's nice that he has a shift in responsibility. We both do. So now I'm not so stressed out about, okay, I got to get
dinner.
I gotta get this kid here. This kid needs to be dropped because we are chauffeurs.
Yes, we are carpooling on Friday.
Yes, we are, of course.
Yeah,
and so it's been a learning experience for him, because now he's calling and what should I do about this, and things he didn't have to worry about before, but he's at the same time enjoying it.
Good.
Because he's spending more time with them.
That's great.
So, and he's flexible with his job because he works from home maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And he'll run out for meetings, just probably like you. And so he has that flexibility. That was the other reason why I decided to go back. It's because, okay, well, he'll be here.
That's great. And he can pick up the slack when you're not there.
He can pick up the slack. And it's nice for him also to have me take on more of a role financially. So that takes some burden off of him for that. And then for me, the burden of having to run around, run to the store, manage everything. Do you have anything that you do now to help you with some of the things you were doing before? For example, I will get groceries on my lunch break just so I can get home in time to spend time with them and help them with their homework and things like that.
My only shift is the morning.
Okay.
And my shift in dynamics, and we just got a Peloton, and that really helps to have a piece of equipment at home when you can't get to a gym or you're in a crunch, because like our sales meeting on Tuesdays starts at 9:30 a.m. And that's all, that's sounds late, but by the time you get the kids out the door, you got no time for you. So I love the Peloton.
Do you?
I love it. I never thought I would love it. I never really thought I would like exercising at home, but this gives you the benefit of having an instructor. Like somebody needs to be telling me constantly what to do when it comes to exercise, or else I'm going to be like, oh, I'm tired. I'm not going to be doing this now. Yeah.
I think now that you brought that up, that has been my biggest challenge is working out. Because now it's like, okay, I feel guilty coming home after being at work all day.
And then going.
Because, I have girls that like to talk. And they talk to me a lot. We talked about that before the show. They tell me everything. Your girls tell you everything. So I have a hard time carving out time to work out and do things like that. And lunch, it's an hour.
It's not enough time to work out and then get dressed, like put your makeup back on and things like that. But try it. You can come to my house and try it. It's great. I love it.
Okay.
And the kids actually like it. We got them shoes. So now they'll use it. Like the whole family uses it. So it's a good thing.
I have to look into that. Yeah, we joined a YMCA. Because
now, the kids might want to go with you to the Y.
Well, that was part of the reason. And it's because my youngest plays basketball. And we needed to find a gym for her where she can practice with her dad because, he's going to coach her in between the season. Her season's about to end. And so we joined the Y. And then my oldest had some interest in volleyball, and they have a volleyball team. So I thought, I can't join a gym and then join the Y with them. That's too much. So I decided
you can do the family membership.
And it's about 2 miles away from here. If I wanted to go do that, I don't know if I really would have time to, like you said, get dressed, get back to work in time.
Right.
But I would at least be able to go on the weekends. But now I'm thinking I might want to get me a Peloton.
You might want to come try mine out. It's fantastic.
Okay.
I love it. I really do. And just, it's the convenience of being able to go downstairs, knock out 45 minutes, and then you're back upstairs in the shower.
Now, are you a morning workout person?
I am. I used to do CrossFit for 8 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And now I have arthritis in my knee, so I really can't do it. But I used to go at 5:30 a.m. because the kids were in elementary. And so I had to be back home for sure by 7 to get them up and out the door. But those days are over. I don't get up at 5:30 anymore. I just can't do it.
That is early. You were dedicated.
But I do like to get it done in the morning.
I think I'm going to have to, and I told my husband this, I'm going to have to come home and work out and get it out of the way. 45 minutes.
Right.
And then be done with it. And then spend that time doing what I need to do.
Exactly.
Now,
I don't know how many days you'd want to work out, but that would only be, you could do a few days in the week and then do Saturday and Sunday.
Right. So that's, I'm going to have to commit to it because it's hard to spend all day at work and then come home and you're drained.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to hop up on that machine.
Absolutely.
But I have to do it unless I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and I don't see that happening. But and I would like to see my kids start to cook. You know, my 8th grader, she bakes. So I'm going to start enlisting her, especially when she starts high school, and to maybe cooking like tacos.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. I mean, yes, they could absolutely start with the basics and
go from there.
I had some neighbors that they had 3 or have 3 girls, and they wanted to make sure they knew how to cook. So the kids would have to come up with the meal that each kid once a week would be responsible for a meal, and they would have to make the grocery list, pick the meal, make the list, and then make it on their given night.
Really? That sounds like a plan.
Right.
I like that. Wow. And then the good thing in my situation is, even with them cooking, you know, their dad's in the basement working, so I don't have to worry about, okay,
they're not going to burn. Right. Yeah. Leaving the gas on or something like that.
That's actually a good idea.
Or there's like Blue Apron things. That would be a good way to learn how to cook, because all
they've got the instructions right there.
and all your ingredients are right there.
I've never tried.
I haven't either, but that might be an idea for teaching kids to
follow directions too.
Just kind of
absolutely
ease into it.
So now, you know, they come home from school, they get their homework done. So let's say you have a late showing, everything's done when you get home, or are you still like, come on, help me out here, girls?
So wait, ask the question again. What are you saying?
By the time you get home in the evening, let's say you have a late showing of home, are the things that you need to get done, or are you still trying to get them into the routine?
Their things will be done.
Okay.
Like, I have to have things set out that would normally be my like dinner. But they will have eaten, and they're pretty responsible.
Wow.
And they're all pretty driven to get that homework done.
Okay.
So,
well, I've have a deal with mine where they have to earn their screen time. So has been the currency. You want screen time, make sure this is done. And, you know, they still have issue with decision making as far as now dad is making decisions that I would normally make because he's there. And so they are still calling me or texting me, right? It's always about 4:45 when it starts. And it's like, well, can I do this? And I'm like, well, what does dad say? Go ask your dad. So they're still trying to get used to that.
Right.
So, but as far as advice, do you have any advice for moms that are thinking about going back to work?
My favorite quote that hit me like a lightning bolt a long time ago was Maria Shriver. I think she was on Oprah or something. But
I love her.
She said that life is a marathon, not a sprint. You can do it all, but it doesn't have to be done all at the same time.
Okay.
And even though it is, 5% got their callbacks on their resume, you can get out and find your own opportunity. They're out there.
Yeah, the job market's looking pretty good.
The job market's great. I think it's the best since 1969 or something. So, but even if a regular job isn't what you're looking for, there's part-time stuff. You just got to look.
Yeah, and I think too, career counseling would be good for someone who wants to start a new career, and maybe going into teaching or starting out part-time. That's what I did. I started out part-time for about a month.
Okay.
But they needed me full-time, so I had to really think about, okay, what does that mean? Am I going to be able to do that? And so I just drew up a pro and con list.
Right.
Of, okay, what's going to happen if I, how is this going to affect the household? Who's going to be responsible for this? And I ended up having more pros than cons and decided to do it. But I think a pro and con list, possibly a career counselor to help if you're wanting to do something different.
Yeah.
And I also have a list of workingmother.com listed 14 companies that actually help moms that stay at home get back into the workforce.
That's great.
So I relaunch, if you Google I relaunch, the Mom Project, Reboot, The Second Shift, saywork.com, and work is spelled with an E instead of an O, MomCore, and there's another one called Linda it's Lynda. it provides online courses and training for moms who want to get back into the workforce.
I have heard of Mom Corps.
Okay. I looked up the Mom Project.
I think some of our elementary school moms have gotten some jobs off of Mom Corps.
Okay. So
and it had a lot of luck. So
Google those, and I'm sure that would help moms who want to go back to work. So how can people find you?
Well, you can email me at annanew, ANNA.NEW@harrynorman.com, or you can always just call me. It's 404-272-0159.
Now I'm going to do a segment that I call Just Because, and I usually don't tell guests about it until they get here. And I usually just ask a random question, and it's usually just because I'm nosy. And sometimes it has something to do with the show, and sometimes it doesn't. So your Just Because question is, which of your children is more like you as a kid, and why?
Wow. I would say my oldest twin is the most like me. It just our personalities are very much the same. A little anxiety, a little.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I see a lot of myself in her.
I would say the same for my youngest for the same exact reason.
Yeah.
Because my oldest is kind of laid back and go with the flow, and I am not like that. I try to be.
Her twin is like that. She's like an artist, and she's just easygoing, and nothing bothers her.
Yeah.
And then there's little me.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
Wow. So thank you, Anna New, for joining me today on Raising Mommy. It was a pleasure to have you. I'm sure we'll see each other at the next Girl Scout meeting.
We will.
Be sure to find Raising Mommy anywhere you listen to podcasts. Check out new episodes every Saturday. Follow us on Twitter at RaisingMommyGA. Search for me on Facebook and Instagram at eatplantsforlife.com or Raising Mommy Podcast. Don't forget to email me at raisingmommy@appenmediagroup.com to share fun, random, and sweet things your kids say, text, or do for our Off the Cuff Kids segment. If your comment is chosen for a future show, you will win a gift card. Remember, first names only, and please include the age and grade of your child. If you have a screenshot of the text or note or a photo of the deed, please also include it with your submission. As always, thanks for listening.
Thank you for having me.